come out from this unit. So one small factory and half of the leadership of the entire group has come from this factory. Then seems to have come fairly close to the truth. I moved out from Baddi. We started from 40 people when I was there. When I left Baddi, we had about 8,000 people. No union, in a highly unionized environment in Baddi. And we haven't lost, we had fun. 4 years ago I moved to Ludhiana, to the corporate office, so I'm no longer involved with Baddi. So these awards have come after I've gone. So I wish I had gone earlier. I think some of these awards could have happened earlier. So maybe I was the bottleneck in the unit getting this kind of recognition. And in the interim, I've handled ERP implementation in the group, I've handled TPM, I moved to the corporate office, I look after finance now, and another ERP implementation. And 2 years ago, I got a steel business to run, and now I'm running an alloy steel company. I wrote a book 3 years ago, which was on leadership. It was about the turnaround of a steel company. When I wrote that, I had no idea of steel. The moment I finished the book, I got a steel company to run. So now I'm actually following, in real life, all that I wrote as fiction in a novel. And let me just share some results of the steel company in 2 years since I've been involved with this. It's been a part of the group, but production, this company has done about 300 crores of sales. Last 8 years, between 250 and 350 crores. 2009-10 it did 250 crores. I got involved in January 2010. 10-11 it did 440. 11-12 it did 580. This year we had budgeted 700 crores. But the slowdown is hit, so we will not get that much. And our target is to do 1,000 crores in 5 years. So 2010 to 2015-16 is a target of 1,000 crores. So 4 times in 5 years was the first target. Second target is 10 times in 10 years. So we hope to do 2,500 crore turnover in this company. So that is one. That is in the future, but what is presently happening is that we've done 580 crore last year. Worker attrition and employee attrition is a problem everywhere. 2 years ago, we had 25% attrition across the board, whether it was managers, officers, staff, workers, 25%. Last year, attrition is down to 5-6% in officers and staff. Worker attrition is down to 10%. When we talk to our people, they say any problem, you need any people, nobody has any people problem. This unit is an island even in our group. We have 24 factories. Every other factory, people are crying out on worker shortage. You go to any factory, they say the biggest problem is employee shortage. With God's grace, this factory is not a problem to discuss. It's not a problem, so we won't discuss it. Last year's financial results. In this industry, we are the smallest among the listed companies. So 580, the largest company is 3,000 crores. Mukan is the leader. Last year's financial results, out of about 13 companies, 10 were in loss, including the biggest company at 100 crore loss. 3 were in profit. 2 were 80% and 90% down. We were, I think, about 10% down. So, as a small company, we had a net profit of 25 crores. But because of the others not done so well, we were the highest profit. Profitability, we've already been the highest, but even absolute profit, we were the highest profit in the company. We are now on the verge of, we have targeted to tie up with a leading world giant as a strategic alliance. And all these targets of 1,000 crore and 25 have come from the people. It's not my target. So people said we want to be a 1,000 crore company in 5 years' time. I said okay, then go and do it. Somebody said we want to be a 2,500 crore company. I said okay, make a plan, let's go and do it. So all these targets that people are coming out with performance reward, these targets have been set by the people, and I'm working on supporting them. So I thought I'll stop here, and the ball is in your court. I can go on, because leadership is a topic I can go on and on talking. I can 3 hours, 4 hours, I can just go on. But I thought, let me stop here and let's take the issues that are on your mind and let's make it as interactive as possible.
So we have a question from one of our members who's not come for this meet, Nikhil Dwivedi. So he's asking, are best pay masters the best employers?
Certainly not. Vardhaman, by no stretch of imagination, is anywhere near the best pay master. Mr. Singh knows very well out there. Entire textile industry in the north and central India. If you look at the top 5 people, at least 3 will be ex-Vardhaman. Vardhaman pays about less than median salary. So, and even in a steel company, all our competitors pay much higher than us. Most of our employees can go at 3 times the salary, 2 to 3 times the salary, easily. Our senior people can go at 4 to 5 times the salary. So, they are nowhere near the best paid master.
Okay.
And even if you look at international surveys, most surveys rate salary at about 5th or 6th. And if you look at Herzberg theory on motivation, how many of you are familiar with Herzberg theory? Yeah, 1, 2. So Herzberg two-factor theory on motivation talks about 2 factors, hygiene factors and motivation factors. Hygiene factors are those whose absence makes you demotivated, whose presence doesn't add to your motivation. And there are motivation factors whose presence adds to your motivation. And even Herzberg has rated salary as a hygiene factor, meaning if you have a bad salary, you will be demotivated, but if you have a good salary, it's not necessarily you'll be motivated.
Is it because of the work culture that you have that you retain so many people?
Correct. If you have a bad culture, then you're the same as anybody else. Then somebody rates you, this is also bad, that's also bad, I get mistreated here, I get mistreated there, at least I get more money there. So as I said, it's better to be miserable in a BMW than being miserable in a Maruti. If you're going to be miserable both ways, better be miserable in a BMW. But if the choice is miserable in a BMW but extremely happy in a Maruti, then it depends on the kind of person you are. I would choose any day to be far more happier in a Maruti than being miserable in a BMW.
So the next one is how to strike a balance when you have complaining employees. Replace them or stick around?
In my life, I don't think I've had to replace more than a handful of employees. So over 22 years of working now, I don't think I've fired more than 5 people. And all people I've fired have been on moral grounds. On performance, I think maybe one, maybe 2, but 1 or 2. I don't recall asking someone to go on performance issue. So, in my opinion, and what I began with, if your employee is not doing well, ask yourself the question, am I a good manager? Or you're an owner, I'm a good owner. But it's very easy for us to put the blame on the other guy, that he's doing a bad job. Am I doing a good enough job? Like it's very common for teachers to say, students of this generation, come on, let's talk of teachers of this generation. If the students are having a problem in attending classes properly, then ask the question to the teacher. Why aren't the students attending the class? Or if parents today say, today's generation of children, like what do they do? Are you a good parent? So, the question, my belief is, a leader always takes responsibility and says, if one finger is pointing at you, 3 are pointing back at me. So invariably, if somebody is not listening to you properly or behaving in a different way, it is because he doesn't know better. Nobody has told him perhaps. Nobody has shared with him. Nobody has linked how his work is connected to the broader vision. And if the vision is, I make more money, come on. How can Ask yourself this question. If you're working for a company, would you be motivated if your owner is saying, work hard? You're not saying clearly I'll make more money, but that's what he's doing. He's making more money. He's not adding anything to your life. So my belief is, if I'm a boss, unless I'm adding to your professional competence on a daily basis, I'm not doing my job. Unless I'm adding to your life skills on a daily basis, I'm not doing my job. So both these things are adding to people's life skills, adding to people's professional skills, and adding to a person's he should feel good about himself or herself. Now those are critical things, and most of us don't have time for that because we are too busy doing non-essentials. Overall, in my work life, most of my discussion when I talk with workers, I don't talk about getting higher productivity or getting more production or something. That happens automatically. I talk about how are they improving their lives, how are they adding sports in their lives, how are they adding, learning something new, how are they improving relationship with each other, how are they improving relationship with their wives, because most people don't know how to handle their lives properly. So I have actually asked people to go and give a rose home to their wife. These are the kind of things I talk. And now many people know when their wives, when they go and give, they say, Mr. Jain would have come today. Yes. Or the first reaction would be, यार दे के जाएंगे तो क्या कहेंगे, बीवी कहेगी कुछ ना कुछ खराफात करके आए हो तभी लेकर के आए हो. You know, but stuff like that. Simple stuff like that, go and compliment your wife if she's looking good. But 3 years later, 4 years into marriage, how many people have the effort to go and compliment their wife? Or the food is good, how many people go and compliment the food? Food is bad, everyone knows. एक काम करके आए, सुबह से लेकर रात तक खड़ता है, ला और ये एक ठीक से खाना नहीं मिल सकता. Very simple. But look at it, if the food is not good, you absorb it, and food is good, you talk about it. So these are the kind of stuff I talk in the organization. I never talk of how to get work done, you have to increase production, those things happen automatically. I'm lucky. Maybe I've had great set of subordinates and I've gone to different industry. I moved to steel, as I said, where it's a different industry. I had no knowledge 2 years ago. And 2 years into this, I still have no knowledge. And I have no intention of picking up any knowledge 5 years later also. So I'll give you an example of how people get ownership. We decided to put up a new rolling mill and a steel plant. This thing was going to cost about 80 crore rupees. Okay. In the negotiation, I refused to sit in the negotiation. I asked my team, finalize it. And then whatever you do, I'll look and sign it. 80 crore rupees equipment. My general manager of a factory and GM projects, 2 people. So how it happened is negotiation was going on. Before that, I visited the 4 suppliers to figure out 3 suppliers that we will work with one of these 3. We talked to our team. We narrowed down on one that if this guy, he's the best, and we are willing to pay 15% premium. Luckily we are not government, so we don't have to say L1, the lowest prices to go. He said, if we get this guy, we can pay 15% premium over the next guy. More than that, we'll go with the next guy. So after that, I was in the US for a holiday, where these negotiations were going on, discussions were going on. The final negotiation, we narrowed down to 2 people. This was being done in Germany. There's a metal fair which happens once in 4 years. So over 5 days, so both the players were there, everyone was there, their team had gone there. So they talked to me on the phone, ye chal raha hai, wo chal raha hai. Fine, anyway, I came back, I was to come back home from my vacation, back to India. And then I said, can you come to Germany? I said, what will I do? He said, yeah, please come. My ticketing was such, I had to come back to India, and luckily I had a visa of Shenzhen, so I came and spent 1 day here, went back to Germany just for a day. So in the morning I reached, visited both the people, so they knew that I was there, which meant we are serious of finalizing. The second party gave us the final no regret price. That at this price, if it goes to the other guy, we are okay. And we were mentally ready that we can pay 15% higher to the other guy, who we felt was a better company. So the negotiation was supposed to happen with them afterwards. So I told this to him, you go and finalize, I'm going to see the fair. So I went around, saw some stalls. Stall bhi kitne dekh loge to the last day anyway of the fair. So I actually went down and sat on a chair with no work, but I was sitting on a chair for an hour and a half, waiting for them to call. And they kept saying, sir, can you come? I said, no, I will not come. And finally, when they called, can you come now? We came, we shook hands. They had got this equipment at 10% discount to that other guy's no regret price. So, in effect, a 25% lower price than what I was ready to pay. This is what a team can do. But very often we believe, I am the owner, I am the best, and I am the best in everything. Now, I am the best in certain areas. Maybe in the entire gamut of skill sets, I am the best in one small area. And my job as an owner, as an entrepreneur, as an MD, as a boss, is to find out who's better than me in what area and get them to do that work. And let me focus on what really I am good at. With that.
Oh, that's great. That example is very well. Good. How challenging are family businesses? Should there be an healthy exit policy in the beginning?
Family business is always more challenging than professional companies in some ways. And in many other ways, I think they are far better. Because it is clear who's the boss. In professional companies, sometimes you don't know who's the boss. There's an MD today, and if it's a subsidiary of a larger company or it's a professional company, MNC company, who knows when that person moves, the next guy comes in. And sometimes because you listen to your boss, you anger somebody else and somebody else gets upset and so on. Those politics happen far more in professional companies. In an owner-based company, it is very clear he is the boss and what he decides goes, and he's got his skin in the game. So many times in a professional company, it doesn't matter. OPM, other people's money. So I can take decisions, I can take big bets. If they go right, I am the hero. If they go wrong, too bad. JP Morgan, what happened? That big bet, that whale, what, $9 billion is a loss ultimately? First they were denying any problem, then they say it's a $2 billion, ultimately it's a $9 billion hole. One employee taking certain bets, which went wrong. $9 billion. And this is JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon, who is considered the ultimate, even he could not manage this kind of thing. Other people's money. Or that other guy who brought down bearings. Listen. 300-year-old bank brought down by one rogue guy. And people asked him, he said, beyond that point, the zeros stop mattering, no? You're taking a bet. No, you and I can relate to 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore. It's so many zeros beyond that. Can you even relate to that number? $700 million, $2 billion, how many zeros are there in those billions? And it doesn't matter. So sometimes in professional, sometimes in professional companies that can happen. It's 4 p.m. It doesn't matter. So in a family managed company, at least somebody's skin is in the game. But the disadvantage of family companies is a feeling of entitlement happens in the next generation. That, just because I'm the son-in-law, niece, nephew, whatever, I will make it. And the next generation doesn't put in as much emphasis. And that is when the transition of generation happens, things start going wrong in family businesses. So if family businesses are wise at it, and I put the blame squarely at the patriarchs, if his next generation is not doing well, that he has not groomed them properly. So if you groom them properly, the next generation, so that becomes a far easier way of, there is clarity. And exit, have to happen everywhere. If your cultures don't match, if I'm an employee, I guess the question is from an employee's perspective, right? Exit should happen. If I'm an employee and I join a company and my vision is very different and the vision of the company is very different, why should I stay? I need to move out. Or my value system is very different from the company's value system. Why should I stay?
So this is the last one from us, and then probably we'll open it up to the audience. This is slightly out of the box. What do you think went wrong with a leader like Vijay Mallya, business tycoon? What do you think went wrong? Would you like to comment on that?
Look, I have no knowledge of Mr. Vijay Mallya's style of management. So anything that I'll be saying would be foolish.
So anybody from the audience would like to comment on it? We have Mr. Chandler at the back, and we like to master trust. He's been having
Like when you invoke innovation within your employees, right? And not only invoke innovation, still you have to pass on ownership to them. If you become a owner for this innovation, you execute this stuff. How that is invoked? If the people doesn't have exposures like what you have, if you are coming from, let us say, Germany, you bring something very latest technology.
Sending people to Germany.
Send people to Germany.
Yeah, I mean, again, why is it that only the owners travel? Why don't employees travel abroad?